I've been waiting my whole life for this one. Orthopedic surgeon and husband for The View host, Sonny Hostin, has been named in a federal lawsuit alleging insurance fraud. She got on television. She got in. She run these women. Tell me why she got her husband is named in a lawsuit in insurance fraud, and I'm gonna show you exhibit. Let me say exhibit B. Can you show this to the jury?
You're married, Tom. You're married. If your husband's doing something, if he's allegedly doing something like this, you guys would know if your wives were up to some nefarious stuff. Let's just not forget who she is. She's been for years lecturing America about morality, inequality, systemic failures, and look at her track record. How many times has she had to go on in the past 2 months and look at the camera and do a legal apology for all the stuff that she said on the show? And then she also, on Trump's win, calling the loss because of uneducated white women that Trump won.
We have to know that. This is accused.
All accused. Yeah, all accused, but he's in the RICO. This is a big RICO case that her husband's in there.
Tom, Sonny Hostin is staring down trouble. Massive trouble. New reports reveal her family may be on the verge of financial ruin, and the cause is nothing short of explosive. Her husband, Dr. Emmanuel Hostin, has been arrested in connection with a staggering $450 million RICO fraud case. The very same Sonny who spent years polishing her image by preaching to America about morality and justice now finds herself caught in a scandal that makes her fiery TV debates look like child's play. This isn't just about lost money. It's about shattered trust, wrecked credibility, and the spectacular collapse of a carefully staged reputation. For years, Sonny branded herself as a voice of justice, fairness, and equality. But now that carefully built image is crashing down in front of the entire world.
Orthopedic surgeon and husband of The View co-host Sonny Hostin is accused in December lawsuit fraudulently billing insurance. By the way, this is a Daily Caller story I'm reading. The lawsuit alleges Hostin knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services in exchange for kickbacks and or compensation, and names him among nearly 200 defendants in one of New York's largest RICO cases. Wow. Hostin's attorney Daniel Twites denies the allegations, calling the lawsuit a meritless attempt by a near-bankrupt insurance carrier to intimidate doctors and restrict healthcare benefits. The case involves claims that Hostin performs unnecessary surgeries on patients after minor accidents without exploring less invasive treatments, with American Transit citing New York's 1974 no-fault law as contributing to widespread insurance fraud.
Now her own household is drowning in charges of greed, corruption, and betrayal. And the irony is absolutely crushing. Dr. Emmanuel Hostin, once celebrated as a respected orthopedic surgeon, is now accused of helping orchestrate a fraudulent empire that preyed on unsuspecting patients and insurance companies. Prosecutors allege that surgeries weren't performed to heal, but to generate profits, turning medicine's noble mission into a dark stage of exploitation. Imagine suffering a simple car accident, only to be pressured into unnecessary surgeries disguised as care, all while trusting your doctor completely. Prosecutors now claim those patients' bodies were reduced to bargaining chips in a billion-dollar hustle. These allegations fall under the RICO Act, the very law used to take down organized crime families. Seeing it aimed at doctors has stunned the public. The lawsuit is colossal, nearly 200 names tied to this scandal, with Dr. Hostin accused of pocketing money from procedures that never should have happened. Even basic arthroscopic surgeries, usually seen as safe and routine, are now painted as weapons of fraud. What should have been symbols of healing have become chilling emblems of betrayal.
The View co-host Sonny Hostin's husband, Emmanuel Hostin, has been accused of federal insurance fraud. According to a new lawsuit obtained by Page Six, the orthopedic surgeon was one of 200 defendants named in one of the biggest racketeer influenced and corrupt organization cases ever filed in New York. Emmanuel was accused of federal insurance fraud and, quote, getting kickbacks by performing surgery and billing a company that insured taxi companies and Uber and Lyft drivers. According to the documents, he knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services, including arthroscopic surgeries.
One analyst summed up the madness with a brutal comparison. It was like paying for a luxury steak dinner, being billed double, and walking away with an empty plate. This isn't being treated as a minor case of fraud. It's being condemned as a direct assault on the sacred trust patients place in their doctors. The scale is overwhelming, with some experts declaring it even surpasses certain mafia trials that once shook New York. Imagine that, a doctor's office accused of rivaling organized crime in both size and devastation. For Sonny, the consequences could be disastrous. Rumors of looming bankruptcy swirl as lawsuits stack up, legal fees explode, and the dark shadow of financial collapse hovers over her home. The glamorous lifestyle she paraded for years is unraveling in real time before the public's eyes. Adding fuel to the fire is her silence. This outspoken TV host, always quick to weigh in on scandals, has suddenly gone quiet as her world crumbles. That silence is deafening, and critics are already branding her a hypocrite. How can someone who built a career condemning others now fall mute when her own husband is accused of running a multi-million-dollar scheme? The contradictions are glaring, and Joe Rogan wasted no time pouncing. On his podcast, he ripped into Sonny's self-righteousness and mocked The View as nothing more than a stage for empty moral grandstanding instead of truth.
You always say it's always the people that always do the pointing, and it always comes back to them, all right? So when you said this is the largest RICO case ever filed in the state of New York, you guys wrap that around your brain. That's bigger than the mafia case. Like the mafia one was number one. This one takes it over. So he was scamming insurance companies from taxi drivers, Uber drivers, and Lyft drivers. He was performing unnecessary surgeries and then providing fraudulent medical services in exchange for the kickbacks.
Joe Rogan didn't pull a single punch. He slammed The View as a rabies-infested henhouse, ridiculing the chaos and absurdity he claims define its every broadcast. His audience erupted in laughter, and the clip spread like wildfire across the internet, striking another devastating blow to Sonny's fragile reputation. Meanwhile, her silence only fuels speculation. Is she desperately trying to protect the brand she spent years building? Is she too humiliated to face the storm? Or is she quietly standing by her husband, hoping the scandal will somehow fade away? Every day without her voice deepens the mystery. Supporters whisper she's waiting for the perfect moment, but critics insist her silence proves she has no defense at all. The longer she hides, the more she loses control of the narrative. And inside the courtroom, the real war is just beginning. Prosecutors are adamant. This isn't a mistake or a paperwork slip-up. It's deliberate fraud on a massive scale. The defense, led by attorney Daniel Tweets, hit back hard, dismissing the allegations as baseless and accusing American Transit, a failing insurance company, of scapegoating doctors to cover its own collapse. But with nearly 200 defendants and almost $500 million at stake, this case is far bigger than one company or one man. It has already morphed into a chilling symbol of corruption in medicine, and it has dragged Sonny Hostin into the harshest spotlight of her entire career.
Guys, this is why we need to seriously have a long, lengthy conversation about healthcare in the United States of America. This is basically it. So Sonny Hostin's husband was basically charged with insurance fraud. What he was doing was doing like fraudulent surgeries and then overcharging the insurance companies for him. This is what this is. So now, of course, he's now being named along with about 200 other individuals in a federal RICO charge case, guys.
The accusations read like the script of a crime thriller. Prosecutors describe a sprawling web of insurance fraud, illegal kickbacks, and surgeries carried out not to heal lives, but to stuff pockets with cash. The story feels less like modern medicine and more like a gangster film. Except, this time, scalpels replaced pistols, and operating rooms became the alleys of corruption. The lawsuit claims Dr. Hostin and dozens of others billed insurance companies for procedures patients never truly needed. Imagine lying on an operating table, trusting your doctor completely, only to later discover you were nothing more than a pawn in a money-making con game. That sense of betrayal is what makes these charges so chilling, and the scale is jaw-dropping. This isn't about one doctor or a single clinic, but nearly 200 defendants. The scandal spreads across the medical field like a shadow, with Dr. Hostin's name planted right in the center. Hundreds of millions of dollars are on the line, as insurance companies claimed they were left paying for procedures that were exaggerated, unnecessary, or possibly fabricated altogether. What patients believed was genuine care may have been twisted into a cold profit machine. American Transit Insurance Company insists it was robbed blind, and now the entire world is watching.
Care.
I've been waiting my whole life for this one. Orthopedic surgeon and husband for The View host Sonny Hostin has been named in a federal lawsuit alleging insurance fraud. She got on television. She got in. She run these women. Tell me why she got her husband is named in a lawsuit in insurance fraud, and I'm gonna show you exhibit. Let me say exhibit B. Can you show this to the jury? Roll it, Nick.
You know, doctors suffer because of big corporations as well. Doctors that want to do good, like my husband.
Prosecutors argue Dr. Hostin exploited loopholes, performed needless surgeries, and drained the system with arthroscopic operations that appeared routine but allegedly had no true medical purpose. These procedures, minimally invasive surgeries on knees, shoulders, and joints, looked harmless at first glance. Yet, the lawsuit insists many were completely unnecessary. Were these patients genuinely suffering, or were they lined up as pawns in a ruthless payday scheme? That's the haunting question now gripping the courtroom. If true, the betrayal is devastating. A doctor's oath is to heal, not to hustle. And if these charges stick, then every patient who trusted Dr. Hostin will feel not only deceived by him, but by an entire system that failed to protect them. Prosecutors are sharpening their arguments, declaring this wasn't sloppy bookkeeping or bad judgment, but a calculated racket that turned medicine into an empire of corruption. The defense, however, paints a very different picture. Dr. Hostin's attorney insists the real culprit is American Transit itself, a collapsing insurance company notorious for denying claims, cutting corners, and crushing doctors under endless pressure. Now, as the company crumbles, he argues they're scapegoating physicians to hide their own downfall. It's a bold narrative, but will the jury buy it? If prosecutors prevail, the fallout won't just ruin Dr. Hostin, it could shatter Sonny's polished image entirely and drag her finances into a spiral she cannot escape.
Last week, we learned that Sonny's husband, Dr. Emmanuel Hostin, was named in a lawsuit filed by American Transit Insurance Company. He's one of 200 people named in this lawsuit, and they are accusing him of filing fraudulent insurance claims and also getting kickbacks from them. And it's a very serious crime. In fact, it's one of the largest, if not the largest, RICO case in New York's history. And they're seeking $450 million. And Sonny and her husband, they are fighting back. They've hired legal eagle Mark Garagos to help them fight this case, and they're claiming that this is completely baseless.
Sonny's silence on The View is deafening. She has never hesitated to attack hypocrisy or shame public figures for their mistakes. Yet when the scandal explodes inside her own home, she retreats into the shadows. Viewers can't ignore the contradiction, and the double standard is blindingly obvious. Then came the bombshell revelation. This isn't just another fraud case. Reports claim it is the largest RICO filing in New York's history. Bigger than the mafia busts. Bigger than the legendary crime trials that once shook the city. The scale is staggering. Nearly 180 defendants are named in this sweeping case, from physicians and clinics to entire medical businesses. Prosecutors describe it as a tangled web of greed and betrayal, orchestrated by professionals who shattered the very oaths they swore to honor. American Transit insists it was robbed of millions, forced to cover surgeries that were either unnecessary or never performed at all. The picture painted is simple. It's like paying for a steak dinner, being billed twice, and walking away hungry. But the defense is firing back with equal intensity, claiming American Transit is no victim at all, but the real villain. They accuse the collapsing company of exploiting both patients and doctors for years, turning the trial into a battlefield of clashing narratives.
Anna went in a different direction. But I love the fact that, you know, Manny is younger and he's
How much younger is he? Just a little bit.
He's like 1 year, isn't he?
Like a month or a year or 10 years?
5 years.
It's more than a year.
Oh.
Anyway, it's not about me. I think.
Oh, no.
I think that it's very helpful that he's handy, and when we travel, I'm not picking up any bags. He's the one that's hefting them overhead. He throws the garbage out.
Right.
He does the heavy stuff.
The courtroom has become a battlefield, with both sides hurling accusations like sharpened blades. Fraud versus survival. Corruption versus scapegoating. And with each heated clash, the stakes rise higher. On the sidelines, Sunny Hostin remains silent. Quieter, more absent, and more deafening than ever before. She built her career on bold opinions and fiery takedowns, yet now, when her own reputation is on the line, she hides in the shadows. Audiences can't look away. The questions grow louder every day. Why does she attack everyone else's flaws with such fury, but vanish when the scandal hits her own home? That contradiction is splashed across headlines, debates, and every corner of social media. This case has erupted beyond a courtroom drama. It's now a cultural firestorm about medicine, betrayal, hypocrisy, and the collapse of reputations once thought untouchable. And right in the center stands Sunny, whether she likes it or not. If her husband is convicted, the financial and reputational destruction could be unbearable. Whispers of bankruptcy grow louder by the hour, while advertisers and networks quietly question whether her image can survive the storm. Behind closed doors, experts admit this trial could drag on for years, meaning Sunny's silence cannot last forever.
Giuliani shook the tree and a bunch of mobsters fell out, right? This is big stuff. And so, and thank you for bringing that video. It sure is ironic that she's up there. So, but if she didn't really know what was going on, right, which is what she's probably going to say later, oh, I had no idea what my husband and his associates were doing. We'll wait and see what that is. But I think it's pretty freaking ironic.
Yeah. I have a totally different perspective on this. I don't really know what happened with this. The facts will come out. What I have a problem with is the core of who this woman is. Unlike you, I don't watch The View, bro. All I do is see clips.
It's just like twice a day.
Here's all I hear from her. America's violent. America's racist. America's bad. Okay. I challenge you, Sonny. And this is Konstantin Kisin actually was saying something about this. Find me a country that's not racist.
Sooner or later, Sunny Hostin will have no choice. She must either speak up and risk igniting the firestorm further, or remain silent and let her critics write the story for her. The internet has already divided. Some argue she shouldn't be punished for her husband's alleged crimes, while others insist her silence makes her complicit, especially after years of her publicly condemning others. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan keeps pounding the scandal on his podcast, hammering it again and again with relentless force. His words cut deep, and his massive audience ensures the controversy never leaves the spotlight. The irony is striking. Sunny, once the fierce judge of others, is now judged by the same unforgiving public she used to lecture. Every move she makes, or refuses to make, is torn apart with ruthless scrutiny. This scandal has grown into something far bigger than fraud. It is now a tale of betrayal, hypocrisy, and shattered trust. It proves how quickly a respected career can collapse when personal chaos collides with public image. The Hostin name, once tied to television debates and legal expertise, is now forever linked to one of the largest medical fraud cases in New York history. Whether Dr. Hostin is found guilty or cleared, the stain of this scandal will never truly fade. For Sunny, the damage is already irreversible. Her credibility, her career, and her financial future are hanging by a thread. And as the world watches, one truth is undeniable. The storm has only just begun. This saga is far from over, with courtroom battles, media chaos, and cultural fallout still ahead. Sunny Hostin's name will remain etched in headlines for years to come. What began as whispers of fraud has exploded into a scandal of historic proportions, and it shows no sign of slowing down.